All right, Moose fam, welcome to another Moose Media show tonight. This is the second one of the season. We had our draft show, the first one last week, sorry, and this is the second one. We have a big full panel of analysts for you tonight. We have Lib making his return back to the media show. We have Piggy, Belial, Blue Liner, Vic, and of course your host myself, AC. Welcome everyone. We got a lot to cover tonight. A lot of big things happening even just in the first week. But what we should do now is, I guess, just do a quick recap of the season, of the series that were played this week. Sundays were discussed last show, so we'll get right into Monday. Anybody have a game that stuck out for them on Monday's night, which was Yam versus D-Mitch, Vin versus Murph, Viva versus Yeti, and Sandy versus Fallen. Does anyone have a series they wanted to discuss or thought was a standout for the Monday night one? We'll start with you, Piggy. Back to the show. Welcome in.
Thanks, guys. I guess I would start off with Yam and D-Mitch because during the day, I guess there was a forum post or whatever about them, and D-Mitch was saying that he really wanted to win against the series, and I assume that they got swept.
Yeah, that's one of the few sweeps, I believe, for the.
No, we didn't sweep D-Mitch.
No, they didn't sweep D-Mitch.
No?
Right.
We did win, but we won in overtime in game one and then lost by a couple goals in game two and came back to win. They actually were a lot closer games than you'd think, I suppose, on paper.
Oh, okay.
Liv, you got a thought on the Monday series?
Regarding any series, I would say the one that stood out to me was the Murph Vin Gizzles series. There was a lot of goals scored in that series, and I think it was the most, besides the Yeti series with Viva, I think that was pretty impressive for Murph's team putting up that many goals.
What about you, Vic? Any Monday series you thought was a standout for you, or just
the one that stood out for me was Saney and Fallen. Fallen actually beating Saney's team. I figured they'd come out of the gate strong to see Fallen win, and the two games that they won were actually one-goal games. So obviously some tight work there, but you only need one more than the other team to win, and Fallen's team did just that. That's the one that stood out from Monday for me.
What about you, Bilal? Thoughts on the Mondays?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Vic there. The Fallen beating Saney there in convincing fashion and pretty close fashion as well. Good goaltending, good defensive play, good offensive play there as well. It was kind of a surprise, I would say, of Fallen beating Saney, especially with the lineup Saney's putting out there this season. They're all producing, all playing well. I think Saney's team will bounce back though from that series for sure.
And Blue Liner, what's your thoughts on the Monday series?
I would definitely have to go with the Saney Fallen series as well. I totally thought Saney would come out and take all three of them games, and it's really a surprise to me that he didn't get them.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a copycat, but I agree with everybody. I think that Saney Fallen series was a surprise, a nice surprise. It's good to see what you could conceivably call an underdog against Saney come out with a win, which was good to see. Tuesday series, there was quite a few. There was D-Mitch versus Murph, Dutch versus Rocco, Colonelli versus Fallen, AC, my team against Valoran's team, Sober and Blue, Cracker and Vin, and Viva and Claremont. There's a lot there, so maybe just each of you pick out one series you'd like to talk about and just what you thought about the series, why you're thinking it's an interesting series, good or bad. Well, let's start back with you, Blue.
I'm going to have to go with the Rocco Dutch. That one was a surprise to me to see Rocco take two out of three games from Dutch. Dutch got an overtime win in there. But I just thought the same thing as I thought with Saney Fallen. I thought with Dutch's team, Dutch's experience, second season in the Moose as a captain, always a good player. I thought for sure Dutch and Chun-Li would come out of the gates and just sweep Rocco in that series. Rocco comes out and gets 2 out of the 3.
Vic, your thoughts? Any particular series on the Tuesday that was a standout?
Yeah, I'm glad actually Blue took Rocco because I was kind of between talking about Rocco, and the one that also stuck out for me was actually D-Mitch beating Murph's team. Again, 1-goal games, but again, that's what it takes to win. D-Mitch went on the first 2, and then fallen apart. It looks like the wheels came off for the third game, losing 4-1 to Murph. But again, I thought Murph's team would have been kind of easily taking this one, if not sweeping them. So good to see D-Mitch still hanging around. He kind of saved his week there, I think. Puts him at 3-3 for the week.
3-2-1.
Respectable.
Lyle, your thoughts for Tuesday's series?
Yeah, I got two series here. Expanding on Vic's point there of the D-Mitch Murph series, I'm pretty sure that series, I'm not too sure, you can quote me on this, Lip, because you were actually in the series. Did they have Sweet Lou and Global in that one? Because I know they played in my series against Vin there, the first one.
No, they did not.
They didn't? Okay, yeah. So that's two big pieces, Global there and Sweet Lou both missing. But still, very close games. And without those two guys, because Sweet Lou I know personally, and as well as Global, two big studs on defense and on forward, can put the puck in the net. But then the other series that's not really surprised me by the outcome, but the amount of goals that were scored, and that would be AC and Vol series. AC's team scored 25 goals in that series, as well as freaking 15 goals for Volern's team. So 25 to 15 in 3 games, 5 goals, and like however many goals for the other team averaging per game. Like you see a 12-1 score, an 8-7 score, and a 7-5 score. I don't know if it was defense lacking or goaltenders lacking or just the offense being hot that night, but it's pretty big numbers. You don't see that too often.
It was just speaking from being in that series, that was by far the craziest series I've ever played in the Moose to date. It was insane, both ways. Liv, what's your thoughts for Tuesday's series?
I guess I'll talk about the Viva and Clermont series. I thought that it would be a little bit more evenly matched, and it looked. I mean, Viva took out 2 games out of the 3, but they did it in solid fashion. It looks like Clermont's team didn't score more than 2 goals after the first game. So I'm kind of a little bit surprised that Clermont's team isn't putting up more offense, having Clermont on the team. But I think he made some trades after Tuesday, so we'll see if that affects his team at all. Gets us some more offense.
Piggy, your thoughts on Tuesday's series? One specific.
Well, to answer Bilal's question about our series, the answer is Devin. Devin can make Valorn's team awesome. He can do anything. He's scoring goals, back checking, everything. But the series I'm going to go with is Colinelli and Fallen. First game was 5-3 Colinelli. Second game was 5-2 Fallen. And then the third game was 1-0 Colinelli. Must have been some major adjustments for both teams to be scoring that many goals and then a 1 game. So good job to both of them.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to see those 2 high-scoring games and then the last game, 1-0. Must have been a tight game. A lot of people holding the controller a little harder than they normally do. And then Wednesdays there was only 3 series. There was Passenger, D-Mart, Dutch and Claremont, Yeti and Yam. We'll start back out with you, Piggy, just because we ended with you, and we'll start with you. What's anyone there that makes anything stand out for you, or they just look like they were a normal series and nothing out of ordinary?
Yeah, I'm I call him Connolly and D-Mart. Connolly had some goalie issues, and he asked me who he should pick up in like the $0 thing, and I have a buddy named Abraham, and he stepped in and he played really well. He lost 1-0 in the third game, and he did really well. So Connolly said he thanked me in a message for picking him up. So good job to them, and hopefully they get back on track.
Vic, your thoughts on the Wednesday series?
Well, I won't talk about Yeti Yam because that's, for most, better left forgotten. The other 2, much more interesting. I guess to add on to Liv's point about Claremont's offense, really surprising, like you said, that they're averaging less, I think, or maybe just above 2 goals a game for the 6 they've played. And it's exactly what Liv said. You'd expect more out of a team so highly offensively talented. But I guess we were playing Dutch. Tough to really say. I guess they they probably know each other and how they play. So shutting them down was something they were able to do. And they also played against Viva in Game of Cones, which is another top team from the week. So 2 tough opponents. But still interesting to see that they're not putting the points up and keeping them closer than just, I guess, a couple goals. They kind of got burned in all 6 games.
Lib, what about you? What's your thoughts for the Wednesday series?
All right, so mine's going to be the Yam Yeti series. I think this is like a historically bad start for a team. There was 27 goals in 3 games for Yeti's team that night. And the previous night they let in 20 goals too, or I guess it would be 2 nights ago for that. Yeah, so I really think Yeti made a trade recently, and that should help his team out. But when you're getting average 9 goals against you a game, there's something wrong. You gotta fix it faster. You're gonna have people like bailing on your team.
Yeah, it's only the first week, but it's one of those things, like to your point, Lib, you got to make a choice soon because you don't know. There's not a lot of time to make up when you get 13 different series to play. Blue, what's your thoughts on the Wednesday series? Anyone specific?
I was kind of surprised DMARC lost to Passenger. The way that Passenger started off the week. As Piggy said, he had some goalie issues. He's got Abraham in there now. That looks to be doing really well for him. But I'm glad to see Passenger come back out and get some wins. I'm surprised to see him lose with Conley, superstar and playmaker up front. I still think that's going to be a dangerous line as the season moves on. I'm glad to see Dutch come out against Claremont and get the sweep that I thought he was going to get on Tuesday night. Claremont being an excellent forward, one of the top forwards in the league for many seasons now. As good of a player as he is, I don't think he can do it all by himself on the team. They had some issues too, and he takes a team over from a guy that drafted, spending all of his money, and then spending $3 and getting 3 left Ds. It left Claremont in a big hole with things to work with. Luckily he's got started early with making some trades, and I'm sure he's still looking to make some team movements to get his team ready as week 2 starts and gets moving on. As far as Yeti and Yam, right. My question right now is Yam's team really this good, or is it just anyone going up against Yeti right now until he's able to make some moves is going to get some easy wins? I'm not really sure. Not taking nothing away from Yam's team because he's got some great players on there, and they did well last season as well. As for Yeti, bringing Pancake in is great, and Pancake's a good goalie, but I don't think Pancake's going to be the only answer to get that team turned around. I also think Yeti should have made some counter offers during the trades going on. If you're going to give up a good defensive man like EWTU Eric, you probably could have got a counter and brought B Cripps over to your team. Nothing against Pancake. I think Cripps might be able to save a few more games, but I think there's a lot more work to be done on Yeti's team as the season moves on, and I think he needs to move quick with that, or we're going to see these scores every week.
And Blau, your thoughts on the Wednesday series?
Again, it's the Yeti Yam series. Like Lib mentioned before, 47 goals in 2 series, an average of almost 8 goals a game. And again, I don't put it all on the goalie. I put it on the defensive unit there as well. The puck's really not in the other zone. The whole series is going to be in their end, and it's looking like it's going to continue like that until, like you heard Blue say, that they make a few deals. They made a few, but not any major ones. I agree with Blue how he should have put some counters in there with some players to pick up some other solid players to fill some other holes and needs. But again, it's got to happen soon, or else it's going to continue to be like this, and they're going to start, say 0-18, losing their first 6 series before they get a kick in the butt, saying, "Hey, maybe we should do the Dutch of last year and move this whole roster and see what's going on."
Do the Dutch.
That should be on the news.
I think you just coined a phrase. Yeah.
Add it to the glossary. For me, the Wednesday series that I think is a standout, or something that I want to discuss, is the Passenger DMARC. I mean, those 2 teams have some high talented forwards, and I mean, there was one game 5-4, but to see a 1-0 and a 3-0 game when you have the likes of DMARC and Passenger and Playmaker and DMARC's brother, what's it? I forget his gamer tag. Sorry, I know it's McLeod. Thank you. I just can't believe that it was that low of a scoring, and it's quite the stark contrast to the Yeti Yam series. And the Valoran AC series where you see these high totals, and then this one where you would expect to see maybe a few more goals, you didn't see them. Last series of the week was Bar versus Sani. I don't think there's a... Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say this, I don't see this as a shock that Sani swept. I think Bar is in a tough position with some of the players that he drafted in the sense that he didn't realize he spent as much as he wanted to on Holy Schwartz, but hope Bar can do something to turn it around. But yeah, I don't. To me, that series totally makes sense that it was a sweep. Liv, your thoughts on that last series of the week?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought Bar Down's team was going to come out and be a little bit better than what it was, because I looking at the roster on paper, but yeah, I'm just really shocked that they got beat so badly by Sani. Like those are pretty solid wins on Sani's part. So it'll be interesting to see if that was just a fluke or whatever, and Bar Down comes back from that, or if Sani's team is really that good. Because I on paper I thought they were about even, but it's just so one-sided to Sani on the results board. I guess I was wrong.
Piggy, what's your thought about the Bar Sani series?
I'm not really shocked about how that went. I guess Bars Down's team really met one of the higher teams and competition-wise, and they got manhandled. But I'm sure Bar Down will make some moves and get that team fixed to where he likes it.
Blue, are you shocked at that series?
I'm not shocked right now, being this early in the season, knowing how Bar's season started off. He's got some great players. However, one of his better players, as in Mr. Clutch, I don't believe showed up to the series on Thursday. I know he missed one of the series last week. I want to say it was the Thursday series. That's going to hurt. Bar's a good player himself, but he needs that other winger, help supporting him in that. Sani losing to Fall, and he had much more to prove. I think he got his team back together and brought it up to get his sweep on the week. But as the week goes on, Bar knows what he needs to do. I'm sure Bar's doing a lot of captain work right now to get his team ready for this week, start making some changes or getting some practices going. Not surprised, just because I know there's some stuff behind the scenes on Bar's team without a good player showing up for a series and that. And Bar knows what he needs to do. I think we're going to see Bar turn this season around here starting in week 2. Probably not right off the bat of week 2, but towards the end, definitely week three, we're going to see Bar Down starting to come out and get some wins.
Vic, what's your take? Think that's accurate?
Well, I'm kind of shocked at the sweep, just because I know they were leading by 3 goals going into the third period in Game 3. So the sweep is shocking. Also, to me, the shocking part of it's basically the high scores in the games more than Sani winning. Bar's team's capable of putting up some points, so to see him only getting a few goals between the first 2 games, not what I expected from them. I don't know if it's a defensive thing that they're allowing over 6 goals a game in that series, or they're just not meshing together and things are getting by. If it's a goaltending issue, but if things don't change soon, then yeah, Bar's in trouble, unfortunately.
Blau, and your thoughts on this one?
Well, I'm looking at the roster right now, and I see 4 solid players up front, like with Schwartz, Bar, and Clutch up front. Unfortunately, Clutch didn't show up. We all know about that. And he also has Drop on defense, who isn't a bad D-man at all. And also, you have a more than capable vet, maybe lost a step or 2 here, kick out the jam and net, which is not a bad goalie at all. He's a very solid, capable starter. So I see 5 of the 6 players on that roster are very capable. You also have Stimp there as a backup who's able to fill on D, able to fill on wing, center, everything there. So I'm kind of surprised at the sweep, I would say. The 6-1, 6-2, 7-4. High scoring. I wasn't expecting that. Maybe mid-scoring, like a 4-3, 3-2 games, but I wasn't expecting these kind of onslaughts by Sani there.
Cool. So let's transition right into trades, because I think that can affect some of the teams we've discussed and some of the issues that people have been dealing with. And there was obviously the big 3-way trade. So why don't we just kind of go over that one and figure out what our thoughts are on that. So in that trade, we had B. Cripps involved. Let me see if I get the actual. This is a hard one to follow here. I'm going to grab. Did anyone have the actual breakdown of the trade? I know the players involved.
I think I got an idea.
I know it.
Okay, tell us there. Help a struggling host out here.
Okay. All right. So from D Mitch's team, he sent Sweat over to Claremont to get B Cripps. And then he sent B Cripps along with Cam Nets over to Van Gizel's team for Derek, GNR, and Banksy.
That's correct.
So what's our thoughts on this trade? Is this the first big one of the season, I would say, in terms of the amount of people being moved and the fact that it's a three-way trade. Any clear winner in this? Does anybody feel?
I feel there is.
So let us know. Don't keep us in suspense, Lib.
I feel D Mitch got a really good end of the deal. I'm trying not to be biased being on the team, but I feel Derek is number one right D man in the league. Like he top three, no doubt. And Banksy is an up and coming rookie that, from what I've seen in practices, it doesn't meet the criticism that some people are giving him as a puck hog and stuff like that. He seemed very pass oriented and seems to be fitting in well with our offense. So I think giving up Sweat, getting a player with maybe equal talent, and then getting rid of Cam Nets and picking up Derek as a right D man, I don't think there's question that's a huge upgrade at right D. And if the left wing stays the same about skill wise, I think it's a clear winner there.
Vic, what's your thought on that big three-way trade?
100% agree with Lib. D-Mitch is, for me anyways, the clear winner. I think every team did get better. However, they did have to sacrifice some pieces. I think I think D-Mitch made the best moves as far as replacing what he was losing. You got Banksy in exchange for Sweat. Also picked up Derek, and really, what did he give away? Sweat, and I think it was Cam Nets, wasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, for me, that right there tells the whole story. Vin kind of got a good piece as far as getting B Cripps, so he's got a solid goaltending. I know that's been an issue. The reason he told me behind trading Derek was basically that Derek and Ed are both two right defensemen, so it was just a matter of which one can you get more for, and I believe that was the reason there. Getting rid of Banksy as well. I guess he wasn't working out. But it allows Belial out of the net, which wasn't helping them. so hopefully he'll be able to put up points instead of let them in.
Biggie, your thought on that trade? Is there a winner or a loser?
Well, from what I'm grasping from everything, I don't know why. No offense to Ed, but I don't know why you trade Derek and keep Ed. Like Liv said, Derek is awesome, but and for Liv to compare Banksy to Sweat is a big deal. Like he has some big holes to fill or shoes or whatever. But I really haven't been paying attention to the trades, so I guess I'll go with D-Mitch winning out.
Blue, do you think there's anyone who lost in this trade?
I don't think there's any losers in the trade. Time will tell who won. They all come out pretty evenly. As far as keeping Ed and sending Derek GNR over, Derek GNR by far definitely the top right defenseman in the league right now. You've got to move him if you want to get a goaltender with the caliber of B Cripps. And B Cripps can be a great goaltender. Solid. He'll save you some games. He'll steal you some games with his huge saves that he can make. But if his head's not in the game, and he's not just all there with your team, it could be a disaster. It just depends what kind of game B Cripps is going to bring with them. He's got Cam Nets who can play decent D and also play it forward. And also, if B Cripps was going to miss a night, Cam Nets is a solid goalie to go in net. I think Vin does well there. He's got the chemistry with Ed, and Ed can move over to right D where he's more comfortable. I think that's going to help them out. D-Mitch getting Derek GNR definitely fills any void on defense, especially if D-Mitch is still on lefty pinching. Derek's more of a stay back and more of a defensive player than what I feel D-Mitch is. Banksy, I hear both ways. I hear he can hog the puck, and I hear he can help cycle the puck with the team. But what you see in club and what you see in a Moose series is two different things. I know from my own team, we practice great. We've got a game plan in club, and then we get to the Moose series and everything just changes. So again, that's just based on the time. Moving Sweat over to Claremont, I think, is really going to help Claremont out because now you got two great wingers working together. Both have been known in the league as top wingers for a long time. Now they're working together. I think it's going to help Claremont's team out. I'm not sure who Claremont has in net now after moving B. Cripps, but I definitely think he had to move B. Cripps. That was his most valuable player in order to get anything brought over.
Bilal, what do you have a winner or loser? Are you around the same thought process here that it's kind of an even for most people so far?
Being a part of the trade, like on Vin's team, I think we filled our void in net that we had an issue with stopping the puck and letting the goals in. B. Cripps has been around for a while. We can stop the puck and keep the puck out of the net, and we'll have, I think, a pretty easier time than people think with Ed on right D adjusting because, let's be honest, Ed on left D compared to him on right D is a big difference. I agree with Derek being a top right D-man in this league, and that D-Mitch is picking up a great D-man is going to fill their void there. But I also think Sweat going to Claremont is going to help their offense, which has been very difficult to score, and B. Cripps is going to help Vin Gizel's team keep the puck out of the net. Again, like you said, it gets me out of the net, which I don't belong. But I think in general, it's going to help every team progress up the standings there, and we'll see, like Blue said, in the long run if it does help each of the teams get into that playoff mix.
Thank you, sir. For me, I think one trade I like, or the one movement in this trade that I like the most, I think, is the Claremont getting Sweat. I don't know if it's going to make a drastic difference to his team in terms of them pulling out of nowhere and coming up in the top end of the standings, but I think that's going to be the trade that'll have the biggest impact on the team that made a move. I think giving Claremont a player of Sweat's talent to help him, and he now has something to build for. That's 2/3 of his forward line. That's pretty solid. To me, I think that's the trade that has the biggest impact. Will it translate into wins? That's a whole other thing, and we'll have to wait and see. There's two other trades that happened, or three other trades that happened. We have DMart getting Biggie's Grow and Barr getting 37 in a row. Lauren getting Chaos Samurai, Rocco getting Upshaw, and then Cracker Joe and Yeti made a two-player swap for Eric and Stoey Jopa and Flexible Pancake. So of those three trades, who has the best? Who made the best move of those three? Lib, what's your thoughts?
I would say that Yeti and Cracker Joe, their trade that they did. Yeti obviously needed a goalie desperately. I mean, Pancake's one of those. He's a top goalie in the league. It's kind of a quick fix though, because I believe he's like May 21st to June 10th. He's not going to be around. He's going to be missing in action. So, he's a good solution for them for goaltending for a week or two. But then after that, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Like, they could be in the same boat, letting in 9 goals a game or something. But for now, I would just looking short term, I'd say that's a really good trade. And trading away Eric, that's didn't hurt him too much.
Vic, of those three remaining trades, which do you think was the best trade made for both sides? Or one-sided? Was there a one-sided lopsided trade?
No, I don't think so. It is unfortunate that Yeti had to give away Eric to get a rental player like Pancake, if that's exactly what it comes down to. By the sounds of it, it probably will be. But again, getting homebrews in return, another capable defenseman. So again, I guess it just buys Yeti time, gets his team calmed down, gives him time to build things back up. So I think Yeti's getting the best deal out of all these trades that I've seen.
Piggy, your thoughts on those three trades?
I agree, and I think whoever, Yeti getting, I don't know. Sorry. I think Yeti getting Pancake is the best deal for him. I mean, he's really good, so.
Bilal, your thoughts?
I tend to disagree here. I know Pancake is one of the top goalies in this league, but I think it actually makes Yeti's team worse. I think Jopa's a capable left wing there, scoring goals, putting the puck in the net, and Eric, I feel, is a better right D-man than Homebrews. And the idea of a rental player for Pancake kind of scares me, of him being gone for, say, 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, there's going to be 6 series that are happening, and that's a possible, how many? Like 36 points that are on the board there. And again, the idea of a rental guy, it is Pancake. He can steal some games, but I think Yeti's team actually got worse here.
Lou, your thought? Out of those three trades,
I give Yeti props for trying to make the changes he needed to make. Bringing in a goalie like Pancake is good, but as Liv mentioned, Pancake's got a long stretch of missing days right there. What are you going to do with your goalie in that situation? You got no choice but to go back to how you started the season. So if that's where your problem lies, which I don't think it all lies right on the goalie on that team, he's going to have a good week-long stretch there where he's going to have some issues again. I think Cracker Joe comes out really good out of this deal because he gets Eric and Joe. This is going to be their third season together. They know exactly how each other are going to play. They've played several games together. They can bring a lot over to Cracker Joe's team.
Thank you, sir. For me, I think what's interesting is for Barr getting 37 in a row. I think that helps shore up his defense, and that's really going to complement well with Drop. I know Biggie Groves is. I've said I think I made comments before. I think he's a starter in this league, but I don't know if he's that extra push you need if you need to get a team jump started. I think Barr is making, as you said, Blue, before, these are some of the moves that he's going to make to help himself get him back on track, and I think that's the first step. And to have 37 at one bag of dicks, that's arguably a steal. I think we mentioned that last week. So I think Barr may have done well for that himself to start the transition to get that team going again.
What's interesting about that is that 37 was Mr. Clutch's D-man last year, and he bought into the defensive system that Clutch put in place. Clutch is on Bardown's team, so maybe they're trying to do the same thing here, getting a system defense where it doesn't really matter so much of the defender you have as long as he buys into the system.
And the only thing I know about that, expanding on Liberator's point, is that 37 in a row did not show up for Clutch in the last little push for the playoffs there. They actually had to end up using Mikey Fish on D. So I know there's a little bit of tension there. Clutch wasn't too happy that 37 in a row wasn't showing up and actually showing up to LG there. So I know that's going to cause a little turmoil there, and you never know. 37 is a great $1 steal, as you guys both mentioned. But I want to see if Clutch continues to not show up, or 37 and him getting an argument. You never know what could happen with that team.
Yeah, and Blue, to your point, you were questioning, and I'm going on a limb here, but I think for Claremont's team, I think goalie going forward right now might be Doctor or 1620. I know he played some goalie well last year, so that may be the reason that he decided to make the move he did to get Sweat. So let's take a look and discuss. So we've had 1 week go by, several series happen. For the first week's completion, what is the team for you guys, a panel, and we'll go individually, that has completely exceeded expectations, that after draft night we're like, nah, team's not going to do well or going to struggle, and all of a sudden now they're doing a lot better than we expected? Lib, do you have a team or a couple of teams in mind for that?
I would say Yam's team coming out to a 5-1 start. Kind of surprised me. I figured they would be like a 3-3 at the end of the first week, kind of like what they were last season, like middle of the pack. But right now they're sitting on the top, and one of those teams were Yeti. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this week goes for Yam's team. But that was the biggest surprise for me in week 1.
Biggie, for you, any team sticking out in the first week? I'm serious.
Yam's team too. I didn't think that they would do very well this week, but they got Vic on there, so they're gonna be fine. But I was just shocked that they went 5-1.
Lyle?
I tend to agree with Yam's team. I think we all agree that the significance of their schedule was a little bit weaker. With Yeti, kind of, like I said, I'm pretty sure they scored 27 goals on that team. So definitely them, but as the season goes on, you're going to see the experience and the skill of all these players come through, and the experience of Yam as well. And I think this team makes the playoffs. I'm just surprised by their week 1. I wasn't expecting them to jump out of the gates to a 5-1 right away start, but definitely think they'll be a good team.
Blue, what's a team that's exceeded your expectations? I know it's early, and we're only 1 week in, but do you have a team that kind of stands out as like, wow, I didn't expect them to do that? Or play as well as they have so far?
I think Rocco beating Dutch that exceeded my expectations right there. I just have a lot of expectations for Dutch, the talent that him and Chum Lee and the rest of the team bring together. That's just still a shocker in my mind. I'm not sure if Yam exceeded expectations or not. I do feel Yam has a good team. He's got some of the chemistry with Vic as he did last season. They practice a lot. They all know what they're doing when they get on the ice, and it's just he went up against Yeti, so I really can't comment on how that went. Anyone going up against Yeti last week, I feel the outcome was going to be the same.
Bilal, sorry, Vic. My apologies, Vic. What's your team that's exceeded your expectations so far?
Well, I already mentioned Fallen beating Saney, and then Saney beating Bar. Those to me were surprising. Another overall just theme that I find surprising that there's already been 5 sweeps. It's a quarter of the games, or a quarter of the series played. That kind of shocked me. And then I guess really what was the biggest one for me would have been AC's team actually sweeping Passengers. Any team that has Playmaker on it, I don't expect to really get swept, but again, one player I guess can't determine an entire series. The same goes for you guys playing Valoran with Devon. Same reasoning. Didn't sweep them, but again, off to a 5-1 start against 2 teams with arguably 2 of the best players in the league.
All right. Now, so let's reverse this. This is a chance to talk about a team that we're just awestruck that they're not winning or just not playing to their potential. So we'll do back reverse order. We'll start with you, Vic. A team you think that's just not performing to the way they should be based on their skills on paper.
Well, I think it's going to be the popular opinion to be what we've talked about between ourselves. So I'll be the first to say it, so I look smart. Ben Gizel's team. The amount of chemistry that those guys have together, shocked that things aren't working out better for them. They don't have a better record. Obviously, putting Belial in net, which is not his natural position, leaving that left wing to Banksy, who they're not that familiar with, obviously caused some issues for them, which resulted in the trades we just discussed prior. Getting Belial out there, getting B-Crips in net, moving some pieces around to fill in for Derek. I think these guys are going to turn things around, but for week 1 right now, Vin's team was surprising for where they are now.
Thank you, sir. And actually, I just want to remember, I forgot to throw in my comment for the biggest surprise. For me, I'm surprised for Murph. Not to say that I'm surprised for the talent. The fact that I know he's got quite a few talented players, but he's got at least 2 players that are 1 for 2, which means he can only play them 1 series a week, and he's second in his division. So to me, that when I saw the draft happen, I was a little surprised of the amount of 1 for 2 players he picked up. But it seems to be working something because he's second in his division. So that's just from my opinion on this team exceeding expectations. Blue, do you have a team that you think is just not living up to their expectations?
Based on paper, I have Bar down, but I've got to take it easy on him because I just know how his team players just aren't there for him right now, and he's working on it. So I'm going to lay off him. I'm going to go with Vin Gizzles because I thought, from day one, as Vin being picked as a captain, I played many games with Vin. I talked to a lot of people that play with Vin. I know he's got a tight system, and he drafted for that system. I was really surprised he come out of the gate and not getting the wins he should. It's great to see B-Crips over there in net and getting Belial out. I do feel Belial's a good goalie, although that's based off of the times I've seen Belial play in club or gone against him in club. And being in lounges in a Moose series is totally different than any game being played in club. So good that he's got B-Crips. I think before things get going, though, I think Vin will start doing good and getting some wins. But I think he's going to fill the void and start missing Derek G and I a little bit. I think that my biggest surprise right there is going to be Vin Gizzles.
Belial, your thoughts? Team that's not doing what they should.
This is a little different one. It's going to be actually Passenger squad there because I know they have the forward line of Playmaker center. They have Connolly, Passenger, as well as Superstar. I know Playmaker's been playing with Superstar for about 4 months now, trying to groom him to his play style and the way he plays. So I know they have very good chemistry, and Playmaker's told me that Connolly is one of the top 5 captains that he wanted to play for this season, and they play the club all together with each other, him, Superstar, and Playmaker. So they have really good chemistry there, as well as the back end with Beauchamp and D Zen. By all means, not weak. They can move the puck well. I think they're going to turn it around here, though, because, again, you can't go wrong with that forward line, as well as they just picked up this Abraham guy. I'm not too familiar with him, but, Piggy, I did hear you talk about his name a little bit. And going from Brent, to Abraham, I think is going to be a good jump. Give him a little kick in the butt, and then I think they're going to start winning series consistently now and see him rise closer to the top of their division.
Biggie, team that you think isn't playing to their potential?
Two teams. Dutch, I just figure that they would sweep first two series. I don't know their record or whatever, but and then Connolly's team, to be totally honest, I was very shocked that we swept them, but after the series, Connolly said that Playmaker was lagging and stuff, so, but whatever, we won, so there's my picks.
Lib, your thoughts on this one? A team that's just not doing what they should.
I would have to say what my fellow colleagues here have mentioned is Van Gissel's team. Because on paper, start of the season, I went through and looked at all the teams, and I put them at the top three. Looking at their roster, I was like, oh man, it's stocked full of talent. Really liked what he did in the draft. Then, like, a couple days went by, and I heard they were putting Belial on net. Then, I mean, that was really shocking. Pay $20 for, like, you look like what $20 could have got you for a goaltender. I don't know if there was lack of planning there, but that was a big shock for me to see them make that decision to put Belial on net and not keep him out on the ice when he was number 2 in points or something last season. And it proved, obviously, that it really hurt them. But going forward, I think they look really good with B. Cripps in net, so we'll see if they can turn their season around. But that really shocked me.
Yeah, and for my pick for this, it's Passenger. Just the fact that you have Passenger and Playmaker. We all know Playmaker's talented and the quality of player he can be, and I understood just a couple of days before hearing some talk about how Passenger and Playmaker have played quite a bit. Don't know much about Superstar, but I'm going to take a lot of your expert opinion on the panel about how good he is. I know a lot of you have made some comments that he's a decent player. I'm just surprised they're not doing better than they are. Maybe they'll turn it around. Who knows? But just for me, that's one of the first week shocks for me, is the team not doing as well as they could based on the potential they have. Before we wrap this up, I'm going to ask you guys just to give me an idea if there's any series coming up this week that would be your must-watch series, or a series of the week that you're interested in to see how the outcome comes or how it plays out. We'll start with Blue Liner. Is there a particular series coming up you're really interested to see how it ends?
I don't have any series in front of me, but I'm just going to be honest. Any series involving my division, I'm very concerned on how it's going to end. Not necessarily the ones involving my team, but I keep a close eye on Colonelli and Saney. I'm keeping a close eye on Fallen Warriors teams. I will be keeping a close eye on Bar Down as soon as he gets his team up and going again. Right now, I'm not so worried about him, not to be rude like that. But really, be truthfully honest, the only teams I'm worried about right now are Colonelli, Saney, and Fallen Warrior. They're in my division. I feel I have a tough division. My team's doing pretty decent with them, but only that top spot is getting that guaranteed first round bye, and we all want that. Right now, Colonelli's holding on to it. Saney's a point ahead of me, and Fallen Warrior and I are going to be fighting each other to move up the ladders and try to take Colonelli off that spot. That's where my worries are laying right now.
Fair enough. I can completely understand. Fellow captain, I could think sort of the same way. But Vic, is there a series that you're interested to see for the next week coming up?
Just a quick look. Tonight, D-Mart and Saney. That seems like it could be a pretty exciting series. Lots of talented players playing there, and some bets. Another one also tonight, looking for... I just had it. D-Mitch and Yeti, both division rivals of my Yams team, the one I'm on, so interested to see how that works out in reference to what Blue was saying as far as the importance of interdivision games. And then the one I'm most excited for myself is to play Vin's team Monday, tomorrow there, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Cool, thank you, sir. Lib, is there a series that your team's facing that you're interested or excited to see, or just one in general?
Just one in general. Dutch and Viva. I think that is going to be a great series. Um, I'm torn on who to root for here because I love Viva's write-ups, so I guess I'll be rooting for Viva to win this one. But I think that those two teams that could be a cup preview potentially. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Piggy, your thoughts? A series you're excited about?
I'm gonna say us versus D-Mart. They seem to be one of the top teams in our division or conference or whatever. So with us being the defending champs, just want to see us how we play against them.
Thank you, sir. Lyle?
I got D-Mitch and Yeti, and then our team and Yeti. I want to see if Yeti's moves can help his team keep the puck out of the net, and see if they can improve on that 47 goals against in 6 games.
How could it?
So I want to see if that gets fixed up, and also beating Amstein tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. For me, I got to go with Lib. I really want to see the outcome of the Dutch Viva series. That's I think, gonna be the if I was to have control over a series of the week that we'd highlight, that'd be the one. I want to see how that plays out, and I think it's going to be a real good, interesting series. Thank you, Skin, all so much. Vic, I'm gonna let you wrap this up. But before we do that, I just want to thank all you guys watching, and to all the people on the panel. Yet again, thank you so much for your work. It's greatly appreciated. We do this for you, fams. Hope you enjoy it. And Vic, I will give you the last word, sir.
Yeah, last word will be in reference to the Team of the Week and the 3 stars, something we're doing completely new this season. I don't know if it's been done before, but something I'd like to implement. I'll say now I'm the one who gets the final say on this, so if you're all fucking butthurt and emo about it, come directly to me. I'll tell you why things are the way they are. That being said, the first Team of the Week for the Moose Season 23, drum roll please, Flight of the Concords. That's AC09 DC's team. The reason behind this is just it's been a powerhouse offensive week, and AC's team is one of the 3 top teams that didn't play Yeti. So they play. Yes, that's a stab at you, Yeti. Take it. They played Valoran's team, which has Devin, and they played Connolly's team, which has Connolly and Playmaker, and still managed to get a huge 10 points out of the deal. So great week for them. They're easily the team of the week. The next 2 are 2 members from that team. Again, it's tough to deny them. It goes along with the same theme that they played better teams than some of the other players, and again, this has been a highly offensive week. Hoping to get more of a spread between forwards, defense, goaltenders for the next weeks coming. But for this week, the 3rd star we'll start with is actually not from this team. He is on D. Mitch's team. It is one of the media members here that is the Liberated. 10 goals, had a part in every one of the points that they scored. When we played them, easily the most recognizable on the ice as the biggest threat, so well deserving of the 3rd star. 2nd star from AC's Flight of the Concords is Dispiggy 8 Donuts. Again, direct all email at me if you think I'm just picking media members, that's fine. But Piggy's leading in goals. He absolutely shines wherever he's playing, whether it's right wing, left wing, or he's actually picked up quite a bit on defense as well. So it also doesn't hurt playing with the 1st star of the week, Drew 13 BTV, leading the league in points. Again, playing against solid teams. There might be others with high points, but those are kind of the runaway gimme games. These guys deserved every one they got, playing against some of the better teams in their division, or during this week anyways. So there you have it, the first rundown of week 1 of season 23.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Great show. Again, thank you, Muse fam, for watching. Hope you enjoy. We'll be back at you next week with some more discussions and more things to talk about. Have a good night. Good luck to all playing tonight. Hope everyone does well and has a good series. Ow.
Especially us.
Well, it's just focus on playing well. That's all we got to worry about, right?
Good night, everybody.
Good night.